All right, well, today I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of being a good looking man. These pros and cons will be based on my experiences after improving my looks. We'll start with the pros. Women will make it easy for you to approach them. They will give you a lot more choosing signals. It might be at the gym, a bar, a nightclub, Starbucks, at work, the mall, and even a gas station. They'll give you eye contact, they'll smile, play with their hair, come close to your space. They'll just make it very obvious that they find you attractive in real life. You may not get outright approached all the time, but you will definitely notice many women giving you pretty clear signals that they're attracted to you. This positive feedback from women feels good, not gonna lie, and it leads to feeling confident around women as a byproduct. Whereas if women weren't giving you signals that they're attracted to you, or you're getting signals of disinterest as an example, you're not gonna feel great, and you're definitely not going to develop much confidence as a result of that. As a good-looking guy, women will typically only reject a good-looking guy, in my experience, if they're already in a committed relationship, they're married, or if there's something really off about that guy, or that particular guy is just not her type. Even so, though, even if a good-looking man isn't her type, she'll be much more likely to give that guy a chance, just out of sheer curiosity, than a guy that's, more average-looking. Online dating will also be very easy for you, and you will have tons of matches to choose from. The variety that you have will allow you to date all different types of women, and this will lead to a lot of exciting and interesting dating experiences, to say the least. Women will also send the first message a lot of the time, and will just make it easier for you to set up a date and continue the conversation further. You'll rarely get flaked on with online dating as a good-looking man. Now, there are exceptions. I think the main exception would be if you were in a city like Miami, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, or New York City. More like really big cities that are much more competitive. But in the vast majority of places, particularly in the US and around the world, you're just not going to experience flaking like you will deal with as an average or below average man. Now, occasionally you will still get flaked on, but it's the exception from my experience. I think when a woman sees a good-looking man that they're really attracted to on a dating app, like they want to meet up with that guy. They want that experience of getting to know him and seeing where things could lead. The next pro is that women will view you as a sexual object. When you're a good-looking man, a lot of women will view you in a sexual way. It's just the way it is, and it'll just be much easier for you to hook up with and date multiple women. This works especially well, in my experience, if you're tall, you have a good frame, decent amount of muscle. Sometimes, tattoos can make a difference. The next pro is that people will assume positive traits about you, just naturally. The halo effect kicks in when people see you, and a lot of people will automatically associate positive traits to you based on your looks. People will tend to think you're cool, and girls and guys will just gravitate around you, and a lot more people will just want to interact with you in conversation and will want to be your friend. You can also get away with having more negative personality traits, as people will tend to cut you more slack, and your looks a lot of the time will overshadow your negative traits. To just give you a few examples, like if you're a shy, good-looking guy, you're going to be seen as mysterious or quirky. If you're a good-looking guy and you have some weird hobbies, those hobbies are going to be seen as interesting to the girl just because she's really attracted to you. Whereas if you're more of an average or below average looking guy, if you're shy and you have weird hobbies, those are going to kind of be seen in more of a negative light, subconsciously by women and other people. The next pro is, I'll just keep it a buck here. You will get consistent sex from women, whether it's in a relationship or if it's a girl you're just seeing casually. You will rarely ever be sex deprived as a good-looking man, as long as you have at least decent social skills and you leave your apartment every once in a while, and you're medically healthy. You don't have any sort of disorders or anything affecting you. The next pro is that a good-looking man is basically social proof for women. So women want to show off a good-looking man to their friends and family, whether that's at a family holiday, some sort of family gathering, or just out and about at restaurants and bars, or dinners, group date dinners with their friends. Their friends and family will typically also show approval much easier than if the guy was less attractive. If a good-looking man wants a girlfriend or a wife, well, it'll be very easy to make that happen, and it'll have to prove and will have to prove himself much less than, say, an average or below average looking man. And the last main pro that I will mention is that it's easier to kind of move up in the corporate world when you're a good looking man. The same thing may not be able to be said about blue collar work, but if you're a good looking man and you're competent at what you do, it's going to be a bit easier to move up the ladder. Your coworkers and your boss will tend to treat you better in the vast majority of cases. And in interviews, the halo effect will also kick in to a good extent. And since people associate positive traits with your looks, you're just much more likely to be perceived as a leader and more of a positive person, even if you don't really show those traits. So now we're going to move on to the cons. And it's funny to even say that these are cons to being a good looking man, because I think for average looking guys and low average looking guys, they have it much, much harder in dating. And but I can say that these are at least the three main ones that I've experienced after looks maxing. The number one con would be jealous men. So some men will be jealous of a good-looking man, and it'll show in various ways. I'll give an example from my own life after looks maxing. I was at a 4th of July party years back, and there was a guy that had approached this girl that was there. He was around 5'8", blonde hair, had a decent amount of muscle mass, decent looking guy. He was kind of like the typical like bro. He had like a cut off basketball jersey on, and he walked up to this girl and he tried to talk to her, and it just didn't go anywhere. She wasn't interested in him. And just so happens that later on that night, I had approached her and we started to hit it off. And she was with her friend, and we were just kind of talking, joking around. I got her to be my beer pong partner. And after the game, we started making out, and then we started dancing as well. And the guy that had tried to hit on her, he and I had mutual friends, and we had gone to this party together as like a big group. And he had told one of my close friends and said, I don't think she's into him. She's probably not going to go back with him. Just kind of like, kind of trying to talk down on me. And funny enough, we ended up going back to her apartment that night, and we actually ended up dating for a while. Ironically enough, it turns out that she really liked tall guys, and luckily I'm about 6'2.5" barefoot, and that was the main reason she was into me looking back. But because he had tried to hit on her and she rejected his approach, he got jealous when he saw me succeed with her. And as a good-looking man, especially in bars and clubs, you'll definitely notice, guys mean mugging you from time to time. And, there will even be occasions where, guys may want to fight you. So just be aware of your surroundings at all times. The next con is that there are some guys who will try to out alpha you. It's like really cringy, but some guys definitely try to be like more dominant when they're around a good looking man. It might be trying to dominate the conversation. Shaking, it might be something stupid like shaking your hand with their two hands, like stupid body language shit politicians do. If a girl is in the group, they may try to undermine something a good looking guy says, or try to put him down in some sort of way to make him seem more alpha. It's really cringy, and they'll also try to be like more funny and witty to try and gain the attention of the girl. I've definitely experienced this like from time to time after looks maxing, so I can definitely understand it. The next con that I've experienced is the lack of aggression when it comes to women. When you're a good looking man, you're going to have tons of options on dating apps. You're going to have options in real life from your social circle, and you'll tend to have options that you've met while out at bars and clubs. And there'll be times where you have many options, maybe so many options at that time that you tend to overlook a girl that could have been a good fit for you, from a relationship standpoint. And the abundance of options that you have as a good looking man can lead you to put a lot less effort into your dating life, to keep it a buck. A lot less effort into your dating life, especially around planning dates and communicating, while you're in the relationship, as, you have a lot of women trying to get at you that you forget to, text certain girls, or even, forget dates that you had set up previously. A lot of good looking guys have the mentality of, well, if this date doesn't go well, there's, thousands of other fish in the sea. And I know that seems laughable. It's a great problem to have, having so many options. But I think a lot of good looking guys can attest to that I think naturally when you have a lot of options, you tend to overlook and pass up a lot of solid women that may have treated you really well in like a long-term relationship type standpoint. And the last con that I wanted to talk about is it's kind of tough, but you realize that women don't truly like you for you. They don't like you for who you are the vast majority of the time. They like you for your looks first. They like your height, your facial features, your bone structure, your frame. Those are what women are really attracted to initially. And as someone who has gone on looks maxing Germany and lost a significant amount of weight, and someone who's dealt with balding and who's had 2 hair transplants to improve their looks, it really hurts to say this, but it's tough, but true love just doesn't exist. And that's not to try and sound depressing, but it's the cold hard truth. Your looks are what drive a woman to be interested in getting to know your personality. And, a lot of the way your personality is perceived is driven by your looks. Your looks dictate a lot of your personality due to positive and negative reinforcement throughout your life. And, I know deep down in my heart that even if I get married and have kids, I know deep down that the woman will not be truly interested in loving me for who I am as a person, as I've lived as an unattractive man for many years back. Well, that's my experience with the pros and cons of being a good looking man. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. Feel free to comment down below any pros or cons that you can think of. And feel free to subscribe. Until next time, take care.